Okay, here we go. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Dots Connector Musings podcast. Believe it or not, it's episode number 10. That started in May as a little idea, little side project, and lo and behold, it just started taking life on its own. And now I'm recording pretty much a new episode every week. Not releasing them all together, but it's probably true. But I'm very glad to reconnect with my old friends from Northeast Philadelphia that I worked together back in, we kind of got connected back in 2017, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
Yeah, when you opened Soul Town Tavern, which was very interesting cultural spot in Northeast Philadelphia. So first and foremost, let you introduce yourself.
I'm Troy, Everwine. Charles, Tyson.
Okay, and how you define yourself right
Right now, resting. Yes, we're resting.
You're rustic.
A
Okay.
lot. Yeah, so projects are starting to come our way, but yeah, it's been once the pandemic hit, we had actually been at the health office or at L&I to get our health license to finally open our kitchen for the bar.
Yeah, I remember this.
Yeah, it was Friday the 13th.
Aha.
And the city and the state closed us on Monday,
Right.
the 16th. So we never did, fully open the kitchen. We were that close. And once it became obvious we weren't going to reopen anytime soon, we had to make decisions about the future of Sawtown, and unfortunately, we couldn't continue, not the way that we were, and not with not knowing when things would resume. So we did our best until about September, and then we made the decision. And so we are in New Jersey, living in the house that my father built in 1953. And just kind of regrouping and taking a rest and deciding what's going to come next.
Okay. Can you tell our viewers a story of creation of Southtown Tavern? How it came to be?
How Sawtown
Yes.
came to be. I was actually looking at, so Charles and I met at, stop moving. You disappear when you move.
Yeah, Charles, please stay with us.
Charles and I met at Pizza Rustica, which was a small brick oven pizza restaurant and bar on Penn's campus at 36th and Chestnut. And my office was right above that bar. And I was looking to buy it right around 2012, 2013. And the numbers just didn't work. And Scotes, Mike Scotes, owned the Gray Lodge and Hop Angel Brow House at the time, is a close friend. And I had him looking at the numbers for me, and he said, this doesn't really work, but what we should do is open a bar in the neighborhood where we live, because we both lived in Tacoma. And so, that's how it came about. What was the Prince Cafe went up for sale, and we bought it. And it took a while to clear the liquor license and get things going, but we opened our doors at the end of May 2015.
Okay.
So, I really wanted my own place. I liked the idea of working in the neighborhood. I'd volunteered in for so many years. And everything that happened there wasn't necessarily part of the business plan. It was a function of just who we were and the lives we'd led up until that point. So introducing the arts, because so many of our friends are artists, and as were we, that it just, things started to happen. So, we started to feature live music and
So,
everything
Troy,
else.
couple of questions regarding this. You mentioned that you were working in University of Pennsylvania. When I did my research, I noticed Troy Everwine in the University of Pennsylvania. I wasn't sure it was you.
I am the only one. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of never met another. But what exactly were you doing in the University of Pennsylvania? What was?
I worked for the vice president of communications, which was part of the president's office. So I was in communications and, which crisis communications, media relations, that end of things for the university. And then the last 4 years that I was at Penn, I was with Penn Medicine in the marketing department.
Okay. Charles, how about you?
I actually worked on Penn and Drexel's campus. I was a dance teacher at several studios, also at Penn with the Penn Dance, Modern Dance Company. I had my own professional dance company, Underground Dance Works. And the bar where Troy and I met was like home base, it was between work and home, and it just worked out. And yeah, so I was constantly in University City and Center City teaching and choreographing and performing.
Okay, so that actually led to my second question. You already answered what is your artistic power. Troy, how about you? This writing or something else?
Writing is my primary passion. When Charles and I got together, he was hosting the Etc. performance series. He was producing the Etc. performance series in West Philly. And it was an amazing opportunity for artists. We did quarterly shows where artists signed up and shared a stage. So, they got 10 minutes to do whatever it was they wanted to do. And the one thing I noticed, 15. And the one thing
That's even better.
was that it lacked a host. I had a background in acting. I was an actor for a while. I did, some voiceover work. I did some stage work, and worked with Mike Lemon Casting for a little while. Learned when I was learning the ropes, and I was a drag performer. So I, in that drag persona, I started to host the Etc. performance series. So for the last 3 seasons or so, or 4 seasons, I think it was 3. I hosted, and
That was so helpful.
did a couple of numbers, but really gave the performers an intro and an outro, and made sure we talked about any upcoming projects they had, and just sort of gave them some placement and some appreciation that wasn't quite there in the series.
Okay, you already I didn't know about this part of your artistic power, so you already gave me an interesting idea, but we'll talk about this off camera. Okay, so so it was natural for you guys to looks like it was natural for you to start artistic component, to get an artistic component to make as a menu in Southtown Tavern. So what kind of how did it look like? How did it work?
Well, which thing?
I'm talking about artistic part. I know you've hosted some open mics and you've hosted performances.
Right. So
can you tell a bit more about this?
So one of the interesting things about Etc. was that there were a lot of collaborations that were born out of that series. where performers would meet one another
Mhm.
and start talking and start realizing that they wanted to work together. So, one of the best examples was Reggie Tap Van Myers, who's, an amazing tap dancer who combines hip hop and tap, would perform at the series. He would come down from New York. And our friend Madhu, our now friend Madhu, who started the Satriya Dance Company, which is traditional Indian dance. She's one of the first women ever to perform it. The first. And her actual first performance, public performance with Satriya, was at Etc. So they actually collaborated and did a piece at Etc. that we have somewhere on tape, where they combined tap and traditional Indian dance. And it was just so, and there were other stories. There were other dance collaborations.
Right.
And things that happened. So when, our first year, or I guess our second year, and entering our second year at the bar, we decided to, we couldn't afford to be part of the actual Fringe Festival.
Right.
And we were way up in Tacony. So we called it Fringe of the Fringe. And we did a night, and it was an entire night from about 7 until 2 of the different acts and performers and that we could pull together. And
I booked it for an entire year.
Right. And one of the ways that we filled that was, the open mic night that we had on Tuesday night. That started early on as a collaboration with Jim Lopardo from Sandbox Music.
Right.
Jim his studios at the time were in the Tacony Music Hall. And
where he is now?
He is right now, he's kind of between studios. He's been in the Tullytown area for a bit, and he's working with some partners to open a new studio. So, but he's still, he does still have artists, he still has a label, he still represents artists. And the last I saw, he's about to announce another open mic night somewhere. So I'm really excited about that. But, a lot of the talent, so, one of Jim's artists was a young woman that had grown up and is the same age as my daughter. I'd known her father was my friend, and it was just really organic what happened. And the open mic nights were every Tuesday. My friend Gosha, who had played piano at Tavern on Camac for years, called me when we finally had an opening date, and she said, "Do you want Thursdays?" I got Thursdays. And I said, "I'd love to." So,
She was our first booking.
Right, she was our first booking. From our first Thursday on, every Thursday, Gosha, who was this renowned piano player and accompanist, and who had played all over the world, was at Saltown every Thursday night. And, she performed, she settled in around 8:00, and she performed until 2. Eventually, Jim Lopardo, who plays guitar, and Ben Radcliffe, who was one of the drummers from Open Mic Night, started sitting in with her. So then it was Gosha and the pickups. So it really became the only bar where a singer could come and be accompanied by a live band. Just on the spur, if they knew the music or they could follow along.
So basically, it wasn't pre-arranged. They just came.
No,
it was very organic.
It was very organic. They performed, Gosha would sing, but a lot of folks got up and sang. And it was just the nature of Saltown that we all also sang. So I would get up, and Charles would get up, and our bartender Tara would get up, and through the night, the servers, us, were also performing. You're not there. There you go.
Okay. So it was singing and play and musical tavern.
Yes.
Pretty much. By the way, before we go far further, because some people we have some mutual friends. You mentioned about Mike Patesi. I know he lost his beer, his main establishment, but where is he now? I was just thinking about him yesterday.
He is doing well. I understand he's got a house kind of out in the suburbs that he's been working on, and he also has some irons in the fire. He hasn't made formal announcements, but he's been working with his new brewing label, Lucky Cat Brewing, and making beer is one of his extreme passions.
Right.
Did do together several times, and so he's working on his label, and he's working on a house that he purchased, and really reimagining. We all are. The bar business in the Northeast got really difficult. The corner bars, the smaller locations, it got tough in 2015. I mean, I really walked in at the wrong time, but we still did everything we could. And, we all struggled along to figure out what to do and what the trick would be and how to keep going. And then COVID really did kind of recenter all of us. And, one of the 4 bars he was involved in is still open, Bonks in Port Richmond. Pat McGinley, who was the partner in that, is still running Bonks. So, a little part of that legacy lives on.
Right. So
we all had to make some decisions about what was best for us and what was possible, what was feasible.
I see. So, what was the reception from the local public on your artistic endeavors?
The folks who loved us. The folks who never knew us but heard about us. It was the reason that people came from all over the city and New Jersey to be with us, and it was also the reason that a lot of locals stayed away. Because early on, the folks who were kind of walking out the door who sold us the bar made a point of telling a whole lot of people that we were opening a gay bar and we were not interested in serving the neighborhood. And neither of those things were true. I mean, obviously we are a couple and we're together, and I love gay bars, but suburban gay bars have not been a viable business model for a very long time. What we always planned to do was have a really welcoming and inclusive space where everyone could be comfortable and feel safe. And one of my very early gauges was, I want a woman alone to be comfortable walking into the bar and sitting at the bar and having a drink or ordering food and sitting for a while and know that that's going to be a good place for her to be. Because if women are comfortable in a space, clearly men will be. And we had a lot of single women who came and who were regulars and who frequented the bar and understood that was an important part of what we did. So we had great reception, and again, we had misunderstandings and misconceptions too. And you just have to reach a point where you say, look, if you come here, you'll know what we are. You will understand this place, but that's the only way you're going to understand it. And if there's a label that you need to ascribe to it that keeps you from experiencing the place, there's not much I can do about that.
Okay.
But it was the worst gay bar ever. All the straight people made it the worst gay bar ever. But it was a really great neighborhood bar.
It's actually, it was probably a very good marketing tag.
Right.
Promotional.
Yeah, I love the spirit of the Etc. performance series carried over into the bar in that part of the reason for the series was to have this cross-pollination of audiences. So you would have, people that came to see dance get to see theater. People that came to see theater get to see live music. So we did the same thing at the bar. The performers would come and all their friends would come and they would see all these different groups and they would realize where they were while they were seeing these groups. And it became this thing. We'd have people coming back just to hang out because they had such a good time when they came to see the performance. And again, we had collaborations with artists. We had rappers working with singers. We had dancers working with musicians. It was fun.
It was a lot of fun. And a lot of those collaborations live on, and there are projects that are continuing, and artists who continue to work together. So it was a great network for performers, new and seasoned. And we had plenty of artists, excuse me, in their 50s, who had been part of a band in their teenage years, and then life happened, and they wanted to start music again, and they came to Sawtown and gave a debut for friends and family, and built a following, and started booking. And I was always thrilled by that. I was thrilled to kind of be that catalyst, and we did it for a whole lot of acts, a whole lot of artists. We did.
Okay. You see my background, right?
Yes.
Okay, you know what it means.
No, but I would like to know what
It actually means, it actually means exactly the same thing you just described with your etc. series, because it was a mode, and it is still the mode I'm operating. Latest example, we had a virtual marathon of arts back in February, and we had artists from all over the world performing. From Italy, Albania, England, Ukraine, Canada, etc. And it happens that two of the, one group and one artist, a poet and musician and dancer, they happened to be from Italy, and they came independently. And they met at this event, and they had, I have it on my channel, actually, these conversations that led, and just yesterday, they premiered a new performance in Italy, where our organization was credited as kind of initiator of this program. So when I was listening to your description of etc. series, it was completely, absolutely familiar.
Right.
We operate, that's why I would really love, and it's, I would really love to work with you guys on restarting this series.
We would love that. We would. Like I said, we certainly, we have not abandoned Philadelphia. It's our city. And we certainly haven't abandoned the arts. All we did, we had to make.
I don't think we could if we wanted to.
Right, right. But, we just had to make a decision about that particular business. And, I have no regrets at all. And what I have said repeatedly is we proved what was possible. In terms of a bar being able to really truly be a space for everyone. In terms of supporting live music, in terms of bringing different art forms together in that kind of a space. So I feel like we showed a lot of what could be, and and we had a wonderful time doing it. And I want to see that continue. I do. We've had a couple of barbecues here, and brought some of our artists together, and some of our our friends and all that. So we stay in communication with those folks, and it's just a matter of time. We certainly didn't jump up. We had to find a place to rest and regroup.
Right. Okay. I'm just we pretty much came to the conclusion of our conversation, or our official conversation, that will go up on the podcast. But I would like for you guys to stay a little bit longer after I finish recording, so they can continue. As this will, maybe sometimes it will go on the second part, but we'll do it together from another location. But for now, thank you for being with us. Thank you for coming here. And, I should say this, please watch other episodes of That's Connector Musings. Watch, subscribe, like, share, all this nice stuff. I hope next episode will go on Anchor, and it's in my plans, so it will be audio only, but I'll still maintain the YouTube channel. So for now, I'm stopping the recording.